Have you ever wondered why hot dogs always split lengthwise? Well, it turns out it's pretty simple, and we're going to discuss it in less than 5 minutes today so you can impress everyone during your next barbecue. Okay, so in case you're new here, I'm vegetarian, so I'm not about to cook us some hot dogs. But lucky for us, the same thing applies to mozzarella sticks. And oh look, I have some right here. But if you notice, it's split lengthwise. And I have a couple here, and each one did the same thing. So what's going on? There's a pattern, right? So we're going to model this as a cylinder. So the cheese inside of here, while it's cooking, it's expanding. And it's pushing on all the walls. So we're going to use this outer crust part as our wall, and we're going to assume that it's a thin wall. This mozzarella stick is very similar to what we call a pressure vessel in mechanical engineering. And it sounds fancy whenever you say it like that, but it's basically just a cylinder or a sphere that is developing pressure, and it's pushing on all the different sides of this cylinder. And that's what we have here essentially. So you have this mozzarella stick, and it's in the oven heating up, pushing all different sides. Well, there's this thing called stress. Stress is not just something that engineering students experience. It's basically just force over area. So it's a nice little equation, but it's just the force that's applied to a tiny little piece of area, and you can quantify it and call it stress. And this mozzarella stick is developing stress as pressure is pushing on all ends. And it's going in different directions, right? So in this direction, we have longitudinal stress. And then in this direction, around the diameter, we have hoop stress. So what are these? How do you calculate these? The hoop stress is equal to the pressure that is building inside of this mozzarella stick times the radius, which is from the center of the mozzarella stick to the inner surface of the skin or crust. And then it's divided by the thickness of the crust. So what about the longitudinal stress? Well, it's equal to the pressure times the radius divided by 2 times the thickness. So if you compare those two equations, the longitudinal stress is divided by 2, which tells us it is going to be half the hoop stress, or the hoop stress is going to be twice the longitudinal stress. So if we have this mozzarella stick or hot dog or pipe, pressure vessel, it's all going to be the same material, which means this material has the same critical stress. So if the hoop stress is twice the longitudinal stress, which one's going to break first? The hoop stress, right? So basically it's pulling this way along your mozzarella stick until it finally breaks and pulls it open, and the cheese is going to gush out, or the hot dog's just going to split in half, or if it's your pipes, water's going to go spurting out. It's not going to be good, and even worse on an airplane. So there you have it, short and sweet. Basically, the stress around the diameter is going to be twice the stress of the lengthwise, so that's why it's going to split that way and just kind of rip open your hot dog or mozzarella stick. And remember, the same thing applies to any kind of cylinder. So your pipes in your house, or an airplane fuselage, any of those things that have pressure on the inside or outside, we have similar equations that apply for external stress, and you can even have external and internal stress. There's modifications to this, but basically it's just a cylinder or a sphere, and this is experiencing pressure and how it's going to react to that. So that's what you tell everybody at your next barbecue, or anytime anybody asks. And also, to give credit where credit is due, this idea to connect pressure vessel, which is something we just learned in our classes, to a hot dog or mozzarella stick was actually from one of my professors. So shout out. My name is Mallory Bartow, and thank you so much for joining me today. Check out my channel, please subscribe, and press the little bell so you can get notifications every single time that I post a video. So thank you guys so much. I have videos every Wednesday, so please come and check out my channel.